Hey, what's up again, dudes? This is the Sasquatch here. I'm giving you another replay that Woo, one of the followers on my channel, has sent me in via my email. Which again, you guys can all send me replays via email at SasquatchStarcraft@gmail.com, and I'll go ahead and cast them. And we got Woo spawning down here in the bottom left hand corner as the red Zerg. And up in the right hand corner as our blue Terran player we have Ryan. And today we are spawning on Shakuris Plateau, which is a pretty interesting map in the fact that you will never spawn on the same side of the map as your opponent. Not a lot of people know this. I think it was recently added to the 1v1 ladder recently, and you'll never spawn up here. And we see he is sending his drone up here, and and that's because a lot of people don't know this, but you will never ever spawn on the same side of the map as your opponent. So there's no sense in scouting up there. It's good as Zerg. I don't play Zerg, but I would probably send my, and see, we got even our Terran players scouting down here also, realizing they're not down there. You will always spawn either directly across, or you'll spawn caddy corner. And this is Shakuris Plateau. Sorry, I don't know if I mentioned that already. And we do see our two players scouting through the middle of the map, and our Terran player walling off towards the front of his natural. And we're gonna see our drone nibble away at this SCV a little bit as he starts to build this barracks, and he's gonna need to send. Yeah, he's sending down a couple of SCVs to come aid his buddy here. And he's taking off, which is a pretty good call. Save that SCV, attack the drone, but still he's delaying the time of this barracks, which is a pretty big deal considering that it looks like he himself is going for a pretty aggressive hatchery opening. So the more you can delay that first barracks, the better. So pretty good play there by Woo to slow down that barracks a little bit. And that's one of the disadvantages to walling off so far away from your mineral line, is in the beginning for Terran. It is so difficult to really defend any harass on your building making SCVs. And we do see the spawning pool up. Still no geysers. Still none of the gas has been taken for our Zerg player Woo here. We see he is getting out 2 queens and 2 Zerglings, while he is now working on his extractor up here. So it's pretty standard. It's not, I mean, I guess you'd call it standard, but not quite as standard. Ryan walling off at the front of his natural, getting a factory already, just on 1 gas. It's gonna be a little tough, unless maybe he's going for some Hellions, and he's going for a starport. So I think Husky said it best when he called this the Destiny Cloudfish, because it just sounds goofy when you call it the 111. We do see a tech lab that's gone down on our barracks, so either he's going to start pumping out some Marauders and possibly get some upgrades, or we might even see this starport swap over to the location of our barracks and possibly see some cloaked banshees coming out. And we are seeing stim pack or combat shields being researched right now, which I don't necessarily agree with, because when you're going a 1-1-1 build, you plan on getting a very diverse amount of units, and not necessarily, I guess you could plan on kind of getting a whole bunch of Marines, but I would necessarily, it's the best choice getting out, that early combat shield. It really just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Maybe, to each his own, I guess, but as we see back in his natural, he's actually building an armory back in the back of his base. So we may be going for some Thor drops, or I mean, I would almost have to see some Thors out of here. I mean, there's no other reason. So maybe he's gonna be swapping this factory over onto this tech lab after that combat shield finish, which might actually be pretty good timing, synced up with this armory. So I actually like to see that happen. get to swap these two over as soon as that combat shield finishes. See some Zerglings poking up. You're gonna see it's completely walled off and not have any chance of getting up there. So we got our combat shield now finished, and we see our factory swapping over to the tech lab, and likely gonna see some doors out of here. Taking a look back over our Zerg player's base, he's playing very much on the defensive with 3 spawn crawlers sitting up towards the front of his base, and working on a baneling's nest towards the back. Baneling's nest just popped, and get a spire coming up also. This is like, I don't know how many times you've seen this. You know, if you're a Terran player and you're seeing, you know, Baneling's nest, spawning pool, spire, like that's just how it always works. I don't know what it is. It's just, and we got a scouting Viking coming in right now. He sees all this. You know, he should have clicked on that spire and saw that, you know, there's gonna have some mutas in the air, which, you know, as far as getting a Thor out, Thors are very strong against Mutalisk. So good call there, getting his own expansion. I actually do kind of like this play by the Terran player. You know, he almost knew in advance without even scouting that he was going to need those Marines to really fend off the mutas. But I would like to actually see him start working on some siege tank tech, maybe getting out some siege tanks, just because you know, with the onset of potential banelings, you know, siege tanks just kind of rule the roost in that sense. And really, siege, you just, whenever you're having to deal with banelings, you're gonna want some siege tanks down. So, you know, another factory might be nice. It's pretty high on gas there, so, you know, I don't think he'd be too hurt to get a factory right now. Especially, he needs to start transferring some SCVs down here to his natural. He's got a bunch of these selected. So there, yep, there go the SCVs transferring down to the natural. Looking back over the Zerg's player base, Zerg Woo. We do see he's got a couple of Mutalisks now popped with creep spread going out pretty well into the front of his base. I just took a mighty hefty sip of some Bud Light there. Flying around the back of the base, going into a couple of missile towers. And gonna start taking out, just picking off whatever he can, really. And that's I fucking hate mutas because of this. There's not much you can do about it. You can pull your army back, but there's no way you're ever saving that depot. You know, it's always kind of beneficial to, you know, put a depot back by those rocks, just to kind of spot if anything's coming up on the backside. But when you put something out like that, you know, that's just aching for some mutas to pick it off. And really, with all the minerals he has right now on 2 base, I do like this play, getting another factory, but I'd almost like to see him get a barracks with a reactor on it. And going for another starport, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. You know, I would have personally got out a barracks at least with a reactor on it. You know, producing a Marine at a time. I guess that he knows that he is going banelings. You know, it could be pretty standard. But this is such a funky unit composition. You know, it's pretty difficult to deal with. We see a 3rd expansion. You know, that's the problem with Zerg, is you got to apply pressure. You can't just sit back and let a Zerg expand, and that's what we're seeing right now. And don't know that I totally see an infestation pit down, so we may actually be working towards that hive tech here in a bit. And Woo keeping his minerals down pretty low. I like this, you know, off a Zerg on, you know, 3 base now, keeping those injects going pretty good. Working on, well, he's got 3 mining, and then a 4th auxiliary hatchery. I'm going to be using all the larvae can, injecting whenever possible. Just macroing up like a champ. We see a couple mutas coming up, and even right now, as we see these mutas about to hit the base, our flyer attacks is about to finish. Oh, perfect timing there. Their flyer attack finished, taking out that turret. Really, these Thors are gonna